turn on the lights because the Danbury Westerners are playing tonight. They'll be swinging their bats and they'll be hitting home runs. It's a night of excitement and family fun. Westy helps everybody cheer on the team as the crowd snacks on popcorn and delicious ice cream. On a warm summer night, you know it's always a treat. Westerners baseball simply cannot be beat. Everybody knows the score. The fans are screaming out for more. Excitement builds on through the night as victory is soon in sight. The runner advances.
Hello, I'm Scott D. Lewis, your host of Sports Buzz, the Fan-atical View. Out of the studio for once, coming to you on location down at Rogers Park. We've been getting out here as much as possible as the season has got underway, the 2012 NECBL season, covering the Danbury Westerners and some special events that they have going on. So over the course of the show, you'll see some interviews, some game action, some vintage game action, and we hope that you enjoy all that we got for you. All right, we're here with Miss Connecticut, United States, Ashley Leach. Ashley, very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Well, not every day I get to speak to a Miss Connecticut or, you know, a beauty pageant contestant here.
Thank you.
So talk to me about becoming Miss Connecticut, United States. How's the process? How does that happen?
Well, you start with a state pageant, and it was actually the second pageant I've ever done, and it was the most incredible experience because I just went in saying, you know what, I'm just going to have fun, and if I win, then wow, and if I don't, then you know it's okay, and I'm gonna walk away from it, and I'm still gonna be happy that I even went up there and strutted my stuff in a bathing suit on a stage.
Always a nerve-wracking.
Oh, you know what? That actually has made me become a more outgoing person, and it really makes you really confident about yourself very quickly because the lights are on you, you're all alone on stage, and you're in a teeny weeny little bikini. So it gets a little nerve-wracking, but then you get up there, and it is a wonderful experience.
Fantastic. So, and obviously you won, so the thrill of that when you find out that they give you the crown, they announce you as the winner?
Oh my gosh. Well, what they say is, and the first runner-up is, and since they say the first runner-up name, the person that has their name not called is the winner. So when my name wasn't called, I was like, oh my God.
That means it's me.
I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I can't believe I just won this. To me, it's still an incredible experience. I really can't believe that I have the pleasure of representing our state at Miss United States in less than 25 days. And I still have the thrill coursing through me. So the fact that it's a wake-up call every morning. I'm like, I'm so lucky to have this opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great thrill. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Going forward in 25 days is going to be the big United States.
It's the big one, so let's hope Connecticut gets their first title holder, especially from Danbury.
So you're from Danbury. I heard you went to WestCon, so you're from Danbury.
I go to WestCon. I'm a junior there.
Okay.
I'm a communications major, so I actually would like to get into doing the sideline interviews with ESPN and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
So being at sports games are my favorite because I live for sports.
You're a big sports fan?
Huge sports fan. This is actually my first Danbury Westerners game.
Well, it's good you're coming down. You're going to throw the first pitch. Are you nervous? Is it more nerve-wracking being in the pageant or throwing the first pitch?
My heart is pounding so much right now because this is on TV, and even though pageants are on TV, I think I'm more nervous to mess up throwing a baseball since it's what I want to get into a career of doing than actually wearing a swimsuit on a stage.
Well, I saw you warming up in the bullpen, and it looked like you got a nice throwing motion, so hopefully
I hope so.
You'll get a nice, you're going to try a fastball, a little change-up. What are you going to try to get over the plate?
The guy was kind of just like, you know what? Throw it as hard as you can and try and throw it a little bit harder than you think you can because that's how you're throwing it best. So I'm kind of just going to go in there and be like, all right, let's just see what happens.
So you're a baseball fan. Who's your favorite team?
I'm actually a Yankees fan.
A Yankees fan. Well, we'll forgive her for that.
I'm from New York.
That's all right.
I was born and raised in New York.
Just for this, opportunity. Because she's Miss Connecticut and she'll be representing the great state of Connecticut in the upcoming pageant in less than a month. So we'll be keeping an eye on
it's so nerve-wracking.
Special treat tonight.
All right, we will cut the interview short here, but thank you very much and good luck in throwing the pitch and good luck at the pageant.
Thanks, guys.
So let's have a good.
So this is great. We're kicking off the season tonight. It's going to be a winning season, of course, right? Here at the lovely Rogers Park. Down at the park, it's time to turn on the lights because the Danbury Westerners are playing tonight. They'll be bringing their bats and they'll be hitting home runs. It's a night night of excitement and family fun. Westy helped everybody cheer on the team as it bounced at some popcorn and delicious ice cream. On a warm summer night, you know it's always a treat. Westerners baseball simply cannot be beat. Everybody knows the score. Fans screaming out for more. Excitement builds on through the night. This victory is soon in sight. The runner advances as he heads for home plate. Rounding the bases, there will be no debate. When the last run is in, the fans will proclaim the Danbury Westerners have won the game. Everybody knows the score. Fans are screaming out for more. Excitement builds up through the night. This victory is soon in sight. The weather advances as he heads through home plate. Rounding the bases, there will be no debate. When the last run is in, the fans will proclaim the Danbury Westerners have won the game.
Second base now, let's get one here. We go. Who's got it? Straight up. Okay. Two hands. Two hands. Down. Back. Let's go three. Let's go three. Left. Two. All right.
Help to a single? Oh. Nice single. Two.
That's fine. Hey, baseball. One hit. One. All right. Clear got two.
and Jay Edwards, otherwise known as Mr., who played for the Newtown Sandy Hooks in the game against Westfield Wheelman. The game, reminiscent of what took place in the late 1800s baseball. 1886 is the year that they kind of said they were gearing towards here. And Ray, as the acting umpire, the thing I was curious to ask you about is the rules of the game back then. Watching the game that just took place, it was obvious there was a different set of rules. So maybe you could give us a little taste of what the differences are in modern baseball as to what you had to call there today.
Well, basically we had 7 balls and 3 strikes today. Foul balls don't count as strikes. You probably noticed that a batter got a hit a couple of times. A batter does not take first base. It's just a ball. It's a dead ball. And as you could see, the pitcher pitches as fast as he wants to.
Yeah.
He doesn't take any timeouts, and neither can the batter. And if the batter loses his bat, then it's up to him to get his bat back as soon as he can, because the pitcher will just keep pitching. And so the game moves very, very quickly, and we know from the box scores from the 1880s that most of these games only lasted an hour and a half. And the games that were played in the 1888, 1887 years over at the White Street grounds here in Danbury, most of them were an hour and a half long. So that's the way it is. That's primarily the rules. There's no infield fly rule. We didn't have a situation where we had an infield fly rule today, I don't believe. But in the case of an infield fly rule, there's no such rule. So invariably, if a team lets 3 base runners on base, what they try to do is strike out the next batter and drop the 3rd strike. And by dropping the 3rd strike, they can step on home plate and get a double play and things like that. So there were all kinds of nuances to the rules. The old rules that change slightly every year. Balls and strikes change slightly every year. We the pitcher only pitches from a box. There's no mound.
Yeah.
It's a 4 foot wide by 6 foot long box. So
no balks at all. It didn't seem like you couldn't balk in the setup.
You can balk.
Is there?
You can balk.
Could call that in a game like
I could call a balk, and I watched for it a couple of times, and I almost saw it once, I think. But for the most part, this is more or less a friendly game, and
yeah.
I'm not a very good umpire. I don't do it very often, so I'm not going to call balks on.
Hey, are there any such thing as good umpires?
Well, back in those days, the umpire, there was only one umpire, and he was supposed to be one of the most respected people in town. So
interesting.
He might have been a banker, he might have been a store owner, he might have been the mayor.
I looked like maybe in a couple plays at second, you look to the players almost for gentleman rules, assistance. Is that
exactly
did I see
right?
That correct?
Exactly right. And I could have asked the fans too. I could have said, how did you see the play? And in one case, I listened for the fans' reaction to a play. I didn't make the call based on what they said, because they said he was safe, and I was pretty sure the guy was out. But in some cases, the fans will tell you pretty much,
yeah,
what the play was. And certainly you can go right. Supposedly we're playing a gentleman's game. This wasn't necessarily so in the 1880s, but we play an earlier version of the game, the 1860s game, which is truly supposed to be a gentleman's game. And when you ask a gentleman a question, he's supposed to give you a truthful answer.
Yeah.
So we kind of rely on that even with the 1880s game. It makes it more compelling to the fans.
And I noticed you moved from side to side, depending right-handed batter, left-handed batter.
Right. I had to see the plate, and I wasn't going to stand behind the catcher. That's crazy.
Yeah, you don't have the gear that these guys have these days, and the batters don't even really have the headgear or anything like that. So
No.
It's different, but the speed of the pitch, I guess, isn't quite as what it is now. But still, it's kind of a dangerous situation for you back there. You catch a foul ball,
Certainly is. Certainly is.
So
And it is pretty dangerous. I think you saw some pretty fast pitching today, but based on the kind of glove that the catcher had and so forth. Mr. can tell you more about it.
All right, well, let's get to Mr. here.
Sure.
You, before we started the interview, you were mentioning something about some different strategies going after the pitcher and different things like that. So
Yeah, it's a gentleman's game for sure, but it's also a more aggressive type game. I mean, when we played in the 1860s, that's underhand pitching. I'm a former softball coach at Newtown High School where I teach, and for years before that, going all the way back to college, so I slingshot underhand pretty hard. I'm one of the harder underhand hurlers that we have. And even in that game, it's predicated on the batter the striker being aggressive and the hurler being aggressive, trying to throw as many strikes as possible and as early as possible. So the games do move along. That's better for the cranks, the fans that are out there. It's better for us playing too. You know, some of us are getting up in years, and weekend warriors coming out here to play this gentleman's game. You want to keep us into the game as much as possible and get through it on these muggy summer days.
Yeah, I saw some guys, grabbing at their hamstrings, grabbing at their knees after running out, doubles, singles, or going after balls in the outfield there.
It happens on both sides, but, we shake it off and we stay out there. I mean, we're here playing in the first place because we love this game, and it helps us extend our childhood and extend our playing lives as long as possible, and that's why we do it, just out of sheer love.
So the Newtown Sandy Hooks, I mean, how does the team end up getting made up? Who ends up being on the roster?
It's kind of like all walks of life. Ray, I mean, he has the respect down. That's why he's our umpire for sure, but also organizing and publicizing through the Newtown Bee, the Danbury News Times, and an outlet like this. You hear by word of mouth. Kim Harmon, who used to report for the Newtown Bee, knows me from, I'm the PA announcer at Newtown High School for 14 different sports. So I saw him in I don't know how many hundreds of games over the years, and one day back in the winter of 05, 06, he said, hey, mister, we play this vintage baseball. You probably come out and love it. You always talk about loving baseball. So I tried in 06, and I've been hooked ever since.
So the Newtown Sandy Hooks plays just strictly vintage games?
Oh, yeah, strictly vintage games, 1861, 64, 65, 67, and these 86, 84 against the Providence Grays, because that's their specific vintage brand that they play. And the team we played today, the Westfield Wheelman, only plays the overhand 1880s games, and we'll play it all, it seems.
Right.
So
you guys have to, the more you play, the more you get just accustomed to the
sure.
rules. But you guys have to make sure you know the different set of rules and what
Right.
goes on, and the different style of play.
You talk to the umpire with the captains representing each squad, and then the captains talk to the entire squad to make sure we know. In the 1860s games, you can't overrun first, or you can. The hidden ball tricks, the no balks, the how many strikes, swinging strikes. Is it a bound out, caught for an out foul, or is it fair also? And they're all different. The vocabulary is different. I'm not a pitcher, I'm a hurler. They're not batters, they're strikers. It's not a run, it's an ace. Those are the main ones. You can pick up the rest as you go along.
I heard one hand, two hands.
Yep, instead of outs, they're hands, because you know, instead of like modern baseball, and we do it too, one or two, you raise one hand for the out, you raise two hands for two outs, and then the half inning is over.
And what's it like getting used to the mitt?
Well, there's not much. This vintage is the only time I ever wear it, and you saw a lot of my teammates out there in the field didn't have it because we're accustomed to playing with two bare hands. I always started off playing first base, and I moved over to third. You're going to get a lot more hot shots at the corners or the thrown balls coming across. So just to protect my hand a little bit, on the non-throwing hand I'll wear it, but you notice it was shaped exactly like my hand, almost like what we would expect a gardening or driving glove to have today.
Right.
Not very pliable. It's more of a blocker rather than it is a true catch mitt. But in the 1860s, it's all bare hand, and the ball isn't that much softer until you get into the later innings if we've been hitting around some. So.
Yeah, it looked like you guys played with the same ball all game. Did we lose
We
the
did.
ball? Or
No. The design is to play with that same ball the whole time, because back in the day, you're playing on somebody's property somewhere. You brought the ball. They're not easy to make. They're time-consuming to make. So, you go, you find them. We don't have the fences and stuff to get it caught into. You go and you find it. If you got to pull in your teammates or your opponents to help you find it, kids who are coming to watch it, some of the cranks, get them on and you play. And if you can't find it, you're done.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful where you set up the diamonds.
Yeah, since you mentioned that you do the PA for Newtown, I actually look familiar. I've done some writing for Patch. So I've been
Sure.
out there a few
Oh, yeah,
times.
that's me up in the booth.
So what'd you think of Newtown's run through the SWC winning the championship this year?
Which sport are we talking about? We've had baseball is fantastic. Their first one since 2009. I remember being at that game. I had a conflict for the final this time, but it's great because I have so many students in my classes, or the seniors I have them as juniors, and it really helps me be a part of that Newtown High community. And we saw Andy Hutchison from the Newtown Bee out here today. I think he got some pictures of me because people in Newtown would at least know who I am, I guess. And I don't do it for that notoriety, but it makes it easier for me to be a successful educator in the school because the kids feel like I'm involved in the community too when we invite them out. And we've had some other contact with school kids. We actually have one of my students playing with me this season. He was taking the ACT today, so he couldn't be here, but I don't have to wait for them to, go off to college and come back to join this. Now he can play on the same team with me, which is quite a thrill.
What's the age range of the guys?
It's kind of whoever wants to come out. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm hate to say that I'm 38, been out of high school that long, but we have we got that young guy there. We've had a couple other college students. When I first started, a former student was playing on the team. The core of our team seems to be in their upper 20s to early 30s, and I'm starting to stretch it out. Of the group we had here today, I believe I'm the oldest guy on the field, which is strange for me to say, but I'm actually the oldest guy on the field today by several years at least. So.
About how many games a year do you guys get in?
Oh, this year we scheduled what, 21? Yeah, in the whole season.
Only,
No, next week it's the beer truck game up at Spencer Pierce Little Farm in far northeastern Massachusetts. Yeah, Newburyport.
It's a tournament of 8 teams, and they'll be coming together in an old farm, restoration farm up there, right near the ocean. Ocean breezes, and they park beer trucks next to
Sounds like
the field, and they turn on the taps as soon as the games start, and anybody who wants a free beer can drink beer all day.
Hey, you can't beat that.
So the vintage game draws some interesting assignments. We went to Con Jam this year, the Boy Scouts Con Jam up in Orange, and we played a game with them. And we come to an event like this, and we're going up to Massachusetts, and we'll have other events. So we get around, and people want to see us, and people want to play this game.
Yeah, it starts as a curiosity, and then it turns into something fun to watch and something fun to talk about, because most people have never seen anything like this before, but then once they see it, they never forget it. And that's what it's like playing. That's what it's like playing.
Now, there's no home. Now, very seldom was there ever a home run, right?
It was usually all you can get, unless there was something quirky about the setup. For instance, there was a ravine 400 feet in the distance, and somebody hit it on the fly down there. You can't go get the ball back easily. Obviously, you're going to settle that in ground rules before, but you don't plan on it. If you usually have the crowds lining the field, and then maybe deep in the outfield, and you're just playing in a big open expanse. Imagine playing on this space, oriented differently with no fences.
Right.
It would be all you can get. Anywhere. That's what it was like at the Con Jam. We were actually heading back towards the original diamond because they had stuff set up for a stage there. So we used soccer field lines. You set up a field wherever you can, and there are fans walking around, and you run through them, and it's all you can get everywhere. And that's part of what adds to the excitement. It's like Little League ball back in the day. It's all you can get as you keep running around.
Keep running.
I would invite anybody to come to McLaughlin Vineyards when we play there. The experience of just playing in the vineyard, the tree-lined field, you can sit on basically stone walls, drink wine under the trees, watch baseball, and really experience what the old game was like.
It's a great way to spend an afternoon, and people usually end up staying and picnicking and calling their friends and telling them to come up too.
In this day and age of technology, how is the best way of finding? Is there stuff online as far as finding out about the vintage games, about the schedules and things like that?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page.
Okay.
It's Newtown Sandy Hooks.
Newtown Sandy Hooks. You can find them on Facebook.
And find that on Facebook, and there's a schedule on there. And we'll be playing June 23rd at McLaughlin Vineyard. The Brooklyn Atlantics will be coming in to play us on that day.
Well, it sounds fantastic. It must be a great way to spend the summer, going from these events,
Absolutely.
meeting a lot of different people and playing real nice venues. Is this the first time have you done it here through the Westerners?
No, this is the third time actually.
Okay.
We played here in let me see, I think it was 2006 we played here, right?
Yeah, we were back here in 2009 again,
Right.
and now here. So
The rain kind of held the crowd down a little bit probably today, but it was nice that you guys could get out here, and the people that came out sure got a thrill seeing how you guys, how the game was played way back then. And, it looked real great.
Yeah, thank you.
and that's the thing. No matter what the score, no matter the opponent, no matter the location, a day spent playing baseball is a great day. So
Hey, can't beat that. Right. Well, we appreciate Ray Shaw and Jay Edwards, Mr. Coming by and taking a few minutes to talk to us about how the game was played back then and playing the game itself. So we appreciate that.
There you go. Let's go, Joe. Good job, Joe. Hold it! In.
Come on. Stay in the back. Get it in one hand.
Run it in! Hold it! Right here. Go in! Let's start!
Well, that's been the show, Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View, the fastest 30 minutes in TV talk sports, but this time we were more on location, giving you other things to look at besides me just chatting away in studio. Down here at Rogers Park we were for the Westerners season kickoff as they've gotten underway. Nice win to start the season off, and some other good stuff that they've had happen in special events wise. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back, of course, next week with another edition of Sports Buzz. Thanks for tuning in.